start? Oh. So our presentation is on Orientalism. So Edward Said explains the consistency of negative stereotypes throughout history depicting Orients as dangerous terrorists, which is not the case. He emphasizes the representation of these stereotypes through art, politics, and media. So you might be asking, what is Orientalism? Why do we have it? Well, Orientalism, it's a lens. It's the way that we view people, different peoples of the world. So basically, stereotypes. So stereotypes, what we do in our heads, it's trying to understand the different types of people, is what we do. But instead we end up labeling, and then we have these labels stuck in our head, and the media emphasizes these, and we just can't get them out of our head. Like all Muslims are terrorists. We know all Muslims are not terrorists, and only a small percentage actually have the ability to get mass genocide through their minds. Right? The thing with Orientalism and stereotypes is they often contrast the reality of the situation, meaning it's false. So Orientalism can be portrayed multiple ways. The way Edward Said portrays it is through art, politics, and media. So Edward Said analyzed that people were using art and literature to attempt to understand a people and a lifestyle which they knew nothing about. So women are depicted as these mysterious and seductive people, when that is often not the case. See this picture right here. The girl, she's taking off her hijab. Women are not allowed to do that in Muslim culture, not for pictures, not in front of men at all. So it was clear that this picture was taken just to make her look mysterious and seductive, because that is not allowed in your religion. The same with these. The women, they have their hijab over their nose, which most women don't do, because they want to not breathe through a cloth. So it's clear that they're emphasizing the eyes through this, try to make them look even more beautiful, and to portray them as sexual objects for men. So the same thing is with the men. Men are always portrayed as these fighters, these people who will come and kill us without thinking about anything else. That they're always part of Taliban or Al-Qaeda or Jihad, which is not the case. Men they don't just come to try and kill us. That is not what they do. But the media just portrays it like that. Like, for example, the media portrays Arabs, Muslims, people from the Middle East as terrorists, but the thing is they're on a government payroll. So we don't actually hear why they're committing these terrorist attacks. And most of the time it is because of us, because our government bombs them. And we do, but the government keeps that out of the media. We go in and we bomb them. But maybe it's just because we don't want to look like terrorists.
Edward Said believes that American Orientalism is different from Britain and France, which is because that American and Britain and France have different experience of the Orient. Britain and France had direct experience with the Orient because it has directly occupied parts of the Middle East. This one is the British colonies in the Middle East, and this one is the French colonies in the North Africa. However, the US experience is much less direct, since there has never been one American occupation in the Middle East. Also, American Orientalism is very politicized by the presence of Israel. America is the main ally of Israel. Israel is a Jewish Western state and is self-declared. America's interest in Israel better than the Arab world, and Israel regards the whole Arab world as its enemy, so that is imported into American Orientalism. And also, this is the reason that the US considers Arab people as terrorists, violence, and a threat. For example, you know the Hamas terrorists on the West Bank are killing Jewish people, but you don't know that Israel occupation of the West Bank and Gaza has been going on for 30 years. It is the longest military occupation in this century. So the Arabs always plays the role of terrorists, of violent, irrational people. Today, there are racist misunderstanding and stereotypes in U.S. towards the Muslim people and Arab people. Journalism and Hollywood always demonize Islam people as terrorists and threatening. Ira Said believed that Islam terrorists does exist because of the violent and political situation in the Middle East. But he argues that there is a lot more going on that is not seen by the West. However, media only focuses on the negative aspect of the Middle East, which makes everyone think like everyone in the Muslim world are all terrorists and a threat. Media reports are controlled by interests that are both commercial and political. There is no investigative reporting. Media only repeats the line from the government.
So Arabs are portrayed as terrorists or harm and threat in the media and telecasting, news broadcasting, movies, TV shows, whatever we watch on TV shows that Arabs or Muslims are terrorists, extremists, they bring harm, threat. You know, they're always the ones in movies that are blowing up things. They're always the ones killing people, leaving dead bodies behind. And that's how they like to portray them. They don't ever focus on that if there is one good one. They always show them blowing up something else in movies. And they give like their world a mood of being secular, not like believing in anything, not to see another side. In the news, there was an Oklahoma City bombing in 1995, I think, and they were quick to believe that it was an Arab-Muslim attack when it, in fact, was two white men that did it who were American citizens. So, like, they're easily connecting to think that all Muslims are terrorists and that one attack on the U.S. is a Muslim attack. And they think that the Arabs only know force, they only know destruction, they only know demolition, to show that that's how they get across. And it's easy to believe these stereotypes on the news because that's how you attract attention, and what they're telling you is like easy to believe. That's a picture of the city bombing. And just in the Arabian, they have 22 Arab countries that are dictatorships with no democracy, so they don't really get a word, they just listen to a dictator. And they allow themselves to remain as Orientalists. They don't really go against the stereotype. They don't try to prove themselves as anything different.
In Oklahoma City, the bombing happened, and it was blamed on the Middle Eastern men, and then Saeed was approached by the police and asked why they did it. But it turned out there was two American men. And Saeed said that to understand other people, you have to become someone else. So like you have to basically step in their shoes and see how they live their lives, because it'll be different from yours right now. And then respecting other people. The Palestinian area has been fought over for over 1,000 years, and it is holy to three main religions: Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. People in Palestine thought they were the holy people, chosen people, so they kicked out people who weren't like them. And then Edward Said said the difference should be respected.
Okay, guys.